All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about the Olight PL-X. So Olight reached out and said, hey, we liked your first video and we want you to do some more range testing with it. So I decided to take it out and I read on there that it says PL-X WML, weapon mounted light. So I mounted it on the one thing that I thought would test it out for sure, a 12 gauge. Let's talk about how it did. And we're going to test the true weapon light ability by working our way through all of these guns behind me. So let's talk about it. First things first, again, we'll go over the box. 1200 lumens on the max, and then a 300 meter throw with the changeable, just flip of a switch. Pretty cool. It has a internal rechargeable battery that is USB-C. I'll show you right there. So USB-C rechargeable, which is pretty sweet, except for you can't ever swap out the battery if something bad happens. So if that's your thing, worry about that. First things first, we ran it on the Ruger RXM for about 350 rounds. Obviously no issues. We had zero problems with this. I did have to swap out. See if I can get to do. There you go. I did have to swap out the lug for the Glock lug instead of the 1913 because it didn't fit. But besides that, easy fix. Swapped it back to Picatinny for the rest of them, and we'll start going over all that. So we ran it on the Ruger RXM. We ran it on the SIG 320 in a Flux chassis. Let me go grab it. All right, let's talk about this setup. So this setup right here is the Flux Raider SIG 320, and I think this is where this weapon light shines, right? So you've got the adjustability. Let me see if I can get you focused. So you've got the adjustability. You put it on, and then you slide it back to where it fits, and then you just tighten it down. But in this roll right here, it is huge because it's a perfect like mid-range spotlight and a really good floodlight, so you can see everything. And in this kind of setup, I think it really shines. So we did about 250 rounds here on the Flux Raider. No issues. Throughout this, there's going to be video footage put along, slow-mo, stuff like that. And as we work up, we're going to see if it had any issues with the recoil or if the mount had any recoil issues or if the flight flickered. And so far with the PDW setup, no problem. Next, let's talk about, again, we went to another 9mm because I'm trying to keep it in a realistic sense for now. And so let's talk about the next one. All right. Make this a little smaller so you guys can see it. Next, we ran it on the JAKL 9mm PCC, suppressed, and this is a direct blowback. And the way I ran it on this one was kind of an unconventional way, but I kind of fell in love with it. I ran it, and these are just like, I'm just going to do it quick and sloppy for you. I ran it something like this. And so it is below the optic line, but check out, you get your full flood, you get a spot that's elevated so you don't see anything. And this, minus the weird look, let's see if I can get it closer for y'all. Minus the weird look, this was super useful. This was a very good idea. Only thing I don't like about this current setup is the switch is on my not dominant hand. So it's not on the side that I'd be operating it on. So it's not as useful, but I really do like the idea of having two lights built into one on this. And again, we tested this one for about 200 rounds and had zero problems with the mount holding or any flickering or anything like that. And just so you know, I started the range day out with a full battery. So I never had any issues with the light, running low or anything like that. But yeah, so here's the JAKL 9. And again, no problems. This direct blowback PCCs tend to have a little bit more snappy recoil, so that's kind of why I went for that. So this is going to be definitely above the SIG Flux Raider and recoil. And again, we had no issues. So since I had no issues, I stepped up to the next one. And the next gun was the Palmetto State Armory OLCAN 300 Blackout. So let me go grab it and I'll kind of show you the same thing. I kind of ran it the same way, so give me one sec. All right, guys. So next, I ran the PL-X. Again, kind of the same way I did with the JAKL 9. Kind of ran it on this front post like this, and it kept it below the optic sight line because it is so high. I ran it something like this. Again, it's kind of goofy looking, but I love the use case of having both a flood and a spotlight built in one like this. Like, this is super cool. It does look a little wonky, don't get me wrong. And again, the switch was on the wrong side for me, so it's on my weak side, so I didn't get to use it. But, so I went with the 300 Blackout next because it's just the next step up, right? So I ran 208 grain subsonic rounds through it, and just to test the recoil, it's a pretty heavy recoil round, right? That's a lot more. And again, no flickering, no turning off, no problems with the mount staying on. And overall, it was a success. So far we've gone a regular pistol, we've gone to a PDW, we've gone up to a PCC with the direct blowback, which is really heavy on recoil. And now we're down to a long stroke piston system, regular rifle cartridge, and it had no problems holding on and staying on and useful. So I went up to the next logical step, and for me, that is a 12 gauge. So final test of the day was this. I don't know if I can get it all the way in the face for you. This is a Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol with a chisel machining stock on it. Let's see if we can show you that. This thing's beautiful. And all I did, the way I mounted this, just to make it even worse, is I put just a regular pick rail on the bottom, put it on, adjusted it forward, and then locked it down. So I ran it just hanging out just like this. Let's see if I can get it to zoom in on you. It's trying to grab my face. All right. I ran it just like this, and I ran 100 rounds of 12 gauge. I did birdshot, I did a little bit of buckshot, and that's pretty much it. I mean, no issues, no problem. Again, I was really worried about this clamp right here taking the recoil and just eventually falling off, and it never did. I just took a washer and just tightened it down, hand tight. The recoil lug held great, no problems. I had no issues with flickering, and that was kind of another thing I was worried about, with especially with the 12 gauge, was really just getting some kind of flickering or some kind of, just some kind of, artifact of the recoil. So, again, 100 rounds of 12 gauge, no problems. So, long story short, put this down so I don't have to hold it. I think we can say the Olight PL-X can be considered a weapon light. Like, that's the biggest thing, right? I know I tested it all during the day, but everybody's already seen the nighttime performance. I don't want to do another video like that. So my final thoughts on the PL-X. I wanted to test to see if it was truly a weapon mounted light like it said, instead of just doing a in the dark, look at how cool this beam is. And I think I succeeded. We went from pistol all the way up to 12 gauge, and it performed every step of the way. I know some people are going to say, hey, you didn't do it in the dark or whatever, but all the slow-mo footage you can watch, you can see how it never flickers. It doesn't, the mount is solid, and that's all you can ask for. I think the huge benefit of the PL-X is the 2 light system and the quick change, how quickly you can do it, because things aren't always the same. I do like how we went to the USB-C instead of their magnetic charging system of the past. But just remember, it's an internal battery, so that's one downside. But overall, go grab yourself one of these PL-X's. They're on sale right now. I've got a link down below. It does help out the channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks for checking it out today, guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. See ya.